can student loans be discharged in bankruptcy? And when I say discharged, I mean wiped away forever. Josh Cohen, student loan lawyer. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great, Phil. How are you doing?
Good. Good to have you again. And the question I get over and over is, I thought student loans could never go away. And this is new, right? So let's sort of like give a quick history lesson on, 3 years ago or whenever it was, the Biden administration released guidance saying
Yep.
student loans can be discharged, follow these steps. And when I say discharged, gone forever, right?
Right.
And when that came out, out of curiosity, because you've been talking about student loans way before that, right?
hmm
What was your take on that? Like, oh my God, this is like, what was your take?
So I had heard rumors that this was being developed, and
Mhm.
and believe it or not, this is a Trump 1.0 product. It
Oh, I
started
thought
under
it was
Trump.
Biden.
It was started under Trump. It was released under Biden because it took him that long to develop it. But this is a Trump product, which means it still survives right now during Trump 2.0.
Oh,
When it
interesting.
was released, oh my God, you could feel I mean, imagine a dam that has no overflow valve that suddenly
Yeah,
doesn't break, but they build an overflow valve.
yeah,
And that's what this is.
yeah.
And it is
That's a good
awesome.
analogy, good metaphor, good metaphor. And the thing is people don't even believe it. Like they
They
they they
don't.
think they're like, oh no, 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 that's not real. I'm like, no, no, this is real. Like
That's
we
it's
have
very
people that
real.
have been discharged hundreds of thousands of student loans. I mean, you've
It's
done almost $5 million in discharges. And
yes.
and so and it doesn't mean you're gonna get it doesn't like maybe not all of your student loans are discharged, but a good majority of them can be, right?
That's right. So the guidelines said they wanted to have at least 75 to 80% discharge rate. That includes full and partials.
Mhm.
And they're meeting that. The last time we saw the stats, they were at an 80% discharge rate, which means 20% failure rate. My God, why aren't you filing?
So wait, let me get this right. This means what you're saying when the government says I want an 80% or a 75% like success rate, that
Yep,
means of all the people who are applying,
yep,
75 to 80% are
are
actually
getting,
getting part or all of their student loans gone.
you got it.
Wow. It's amazing to me that the government would shoot that high. I mean, you would think it's
Well,
like, okay, we're at 50%. I mean, that's a big number.
it is a big number, but also realize prior to this, the number of people that filed adversaries was
Mhm.
less than a percent.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
is it
Right.
increasing business? Is it doing? And yes, now understand, let's dive right into it.
Mhm.
Understand this hasn't changed the law. The law about discharging loans still exists.
Mhm.
It's a bankruptcy clause. And the test,
Mhm.
known as the Brunner test, still exists. So what
Mhm.
did the government do? The Department of Ed and Department of Justice got together and said, let's create a checklist. And if people do the checklist and they meet the criteria, we will stipulate, we will agree to
Got
a
it.
full discharge, or if there's gray area, a partial discharge.
Got it.
Oh my God, that's what this is. This is not a change in law. It is an efficient way of saying, yes, you get it. No, you don't.
Got it. Yeah. So it takes away the gray area, the complexity, and we can get more people in who really need the relief, right?
And what that also does, because it's efficient, it means it's more cost effective.
Mhm.
It means people can afford these
Yeah.
to get rid of their loans.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a win all around.
You use the word adversary, right? And it's
Yes.
important to understand, like when you fill out this questionnaire, it's not like a normal questionnaire. Like you're actually filing an adversary proceeding, like it's a lawsuit against the Department of Justice saying, "Hey, I need a discharge." Is that correct?
Yeah. So technically speaking, within the bankruptcy, you file an adversary proceeding, which you said correctly is a mini lawsuit within bankruptcy. You're filing against the Department of Education. Department of Justice comes in because those are the federal attorneys, and and that's it. And we file the lawsuit, they show up, we file the attestation, which actually is not public record. It doesn't get filed in the docket.
Hmm.
We just send it over to the Department of Justice. They review it, they make a recommendation to the Department of Ed. Ed comes back and says yes or no. The attorney comes back to me and says, okay, Josh, here's what we can do.
Hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, sorry, 9.9 times out of 10,
Right.
we love it. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And on
Mhm.
that point one, we can still work something.
Got it. And
Awesome.
Josh, you have to be in bankruptcy. So for example,
Yes.
like there's some people who are watching this video and they're have not filed bankruptcy and they're not even thinking about bankruptcy, right?
Right.
Like when does it make sense? You just got to look at the numbers and say you got $100,000 worth of student loans and you're making X number of dollars. When does it make sense to go into a income-based repayment where your payment's going to be zero
Yeah.
versus filing bankruptcy and getting your
Yeah.
loans down to zero? Like how do you advise clients on that?
So that is actually the very first question that I'm looking at is as I tell my clients, okay, I'm going to give you the whole buffet. You choose what you want,
Yeah,
including the black licorice, but here's the buffet of options.
right.
And so, yes, one option is without bankruptcy, can you qualify for an income plan which qualifies you for forgiveness? And
Mhm.
within that is a subset. Are you a government employee or a nonprofit employee that gets early forgiveness with just 10 years?
Got it. Okay.
Okay. And compare that to, do you need a bankruptcy? Do you want a bankruptcy? And can we perform magic in that bankruptcy with your student loan?
Got it.
And
So
and I give people the full gamut. Okay, you're
yeah.
5 years away from regular discharge. Why do you need bankruptcy? Versus you're 15 years away and you're filing bankruptcy anyway for a foreclosure on your house. You've got all the markers. Why not?
Yeah. The other thing I want to ask you is if you had a bankruptcy in the past, you
Mhm.
can reopen it, which is a big win. You don't have to file bankruptcy again. How far back can you go and reopen a bankruptcy?
So that's a two-part question.
Okay.
Technically, there's really there's no hard fast rule on that. I have open bankruptcies that have been 7, 8 years old. That's
I,
kind of the line I want to go. However, for
wow.
this particular issue, in order to use this attestation
Right.
process, technically the bankruptcy had to still be active
Right.
as of November 22nd, 2022.
Right.
If it was closed before that, you may not be able to use this.
But May is the key because we've
Yes,
had clients where it's worked for them, right? So
yes,
they drew a line in the sand and they said, here it
yeah.
is. But you try it and see what they come back at.
And there's a way that we can do it beforehand. I will contact the DOJ attorney in that area and ask them, do you use this bright line or not? Can I do this or not? Because I don't want to waste someone's time either.
Yeah.
But if I can, I'm going to give them hope. We're going to get this done.
So you can discharge student loan through bankruptcy. May not be the right fit. You may want to go income based or the RAP program, as we've mentioned in other
Yes,
videos. But there's a lot of options for people with student loans
yes.
and figuring out how to manage their debt. Josh Cohen, student loan lawyer, thanks for being on.
Thank you.